Hey, y'all. Hey, it's JJ Conway. Today, we're going to be talking about self-directed IRAs. Now, I'm sure you hear some background noise. We are wrapping up the Juneteenth Legacy Conference, so I'm here broadcasting to you live from the Doubletree O'Hare Rosemont. We've had a fantastic day. I'm going to tell you all about it in a little bit. Let me go ahead and open us up with a little intro. Hey, everybody, it's JJ Conway. We're wrapping up the Juneteenth Legacy Conference here in Chicago. We had Dr. Boyce Watkins. We had Dr. Cheryl Wood. We had Sunithia Bland. I'm telling you, we had a fabulous time. Oh, my goodness, my goodness. I can't wait to share the highlights with you. Monday, the actual Juneteenth. Tomorrow and Friday, tomorrow's Friday. Tomorrow and Saturday, we're going to have the virtual broadcast. So you can go out to JuneteenthLegacyLive.com and catch that virtual broadcast. It'll run from 10 to about 8 or 9 or so. I want you to get on there, y'all, because today's content was so good, and the broadcast content is just as juicy, y'all. All right. So now what we're going to do today, we're going to talk about self-directed IRAs. It is part of our, I'm so sorry, y'all. It's part of our real estate investing 101 series. So every third Thursday we do real estate investing 101, and I'm super excited for today. Let me tell you what distracted me here just now. I saw this. I was like, wait a second. Why am I wearing a necklace with this outfit? Well, this was a gift to me from one of our speakers. You can see there's a bullet casings there because I was in the military, and it's red, white, and blue. Not only is it the colors of Old Glory, but it's also the colors of Juneteenth. A lot of people didn't know that. In fact, if you look at our sign behind me, that emblem, that logo comes from the Juneteenth flag, which is red, white, blue. All right, so what we're going to be talking about today is self-directed IRAs, and I'm going to acknowledge up front, y'all, look, I'm going to acknowledge up front, I've been in the conference all day. I've been hobnobbing it with fabulous, intelligent Black people talking about what we can do to make sure that we build generational legacy. So if you've been in this before, if you've had this training before, these are going to be the same slides because I didn't have time to update them. We literally just sent everybody out, everybody said their goodbyes. They made their testimonials for me, made me feel all special, and they just now left. So I didn't have time to update the slides. There might be one or two little things from last year. Y'all give me a little bit of grace, all right? Is that fair enough today? Can y'all give me a little bit of grace today? All right. I'm so excited. Hold on. Let me bring up the slides. Okay, here's what we have. Let's go with our self-directed IRAs. Again, this is part of Real Estate Investing 101. And let me see if I have a thing about building wealth together. Okay, yep. Okay, so let me just kind of talk a little bit about building wealth together. When we do Real Estate Investing 101, this is my fundraiser for our Global Youth Initiative. It's a John Maxwell leadership program for youth. And I sponsor the Global Youth Initiative of Northwest Louisiana, which is where I retired from the Air Force out of Barksdale Air Force Base. And we also do the Global Youth Initiative of Erath County, which is where I live now in Texas, the rodeo capital of the world, y'all. Cowboy capital of the world, y'all. Y'all need to come on down and get your rodeo on sometime. I guarantee you're going to have a good time. All right. So that's what we're doing a fundraiser for. So what I'm saying that for is if you screenshot my slides, if you get a blessing out of this, I want you to PayPal or Cash App Queen of Cash Flow with some kind of donation, $5, $10, $50, whatever little bit you have. It goes to helping me help these kids. All right. We teach them confidence. We teach them how they're fearfully and wonderfully made. We teach them about their own personality and what kinds of things work for their personality. You know, sometimes you feel like a square peg in a round hole and you're trying to do one thing and your family's all different other kind of way. Well, sometimes it's nice to know that your talents are God-given, and here are all the different things that people who have your talents like to do. That's what we do for these young people. We teach them and equip them with skill set to be able to communicate better with their parents, communicate better with their teachers, and get more of what they want out of life while getting more of what others want for them out of life. That's a win-win, isn't that? All right. All right. So this is our fundraiser for that. And so if you enjoy this, I want to encourage you to make a little donation. All right. Now, building wealth together, we are not about get rich quick. There's a lot of different ways to build wealth. There's a lot of different ways to build passive wealth, but we are not a get rich quick. We're more about get rich right. And we're looking at how to build wealth. We're not trying to go backwards. We're trying to go forwards. And we do that through ethics, accountability, and education. And so that's what we offer at Building Wealth Together. Okay. That schedule's outdated. If you want the most up-to-date schedule, go out to Facebook/groups/Build Wealth with JJ, and that'll put you in the Building Wealth Together group with JJ Conway, and then you'll be able to see our current schedule. So every Thursday we have a class, and the third Thursdays is real estate. All right, that's a little bit about me on the screen there. I'm awesome, but not so awesome that I didn't get into almost $845,000 in debt. And after you've slept in many a parking lot and eaten a lot of dinners as free samples at the grocery stores, you decided you were going to change your life and you're going to make something better. And that's exactly what I did. You know, I had a very high paying job. I'll be honest with you. I had a very high paying job at that time in my life. But with $800-something in debt, well, a very high paying job did not help that much. And even worse, I made so much money I didn't qualify. So me and my oldest son that you can see there, standing in my alma mater, the Air Force Academy, we had a lot of adventures as we learned how to be on our own and kind of broke, even though we made a lot of money. And so for me, I want to make sure that, you know, this never happens to another one of my generations unless they choose that kind of a lifestyle. But I also feel called to change communities, and that's why I do what I do. All right, that's enough about me. Let's talk about real estate. Now, the reason I love teaching about real estate is because I feel like there's at least 20 different ways to profit in real estate. And what you're going to see on this slide is I'm going to shade in blue the ones that you can easily profit from without buying the property. So if you are listening to me on freeconferencecall.com, then you won't be able to see the slides, but I encourage you to go to my YouTube channel, JJ Knows the Way, and you'll be able to see the ones that I have shaded in blue. And even more importantly, for a lot of people on this call, I've shaded in green a column here of ones that you can get profit when you start without any money. So some of us are so broke and we go to these hotel room seminars and they say, hey, give us your $1,000 and you'll make $1 million by tomorrow. Or we go to a church and we go to an evangelical thing and they say, oh, sow your $1,000 seed and the Lord is going to send it to you millions by tomorrow. Well, you know, that's not necessarily realistic. Could the Lord send me millions? Of course he could. Could the Lord send you millions? Of course he could. Does that usually happen? No, because a lot of times those kind of ministries, especially if they're telling you, look, wait, no. Let me take it off the slide for a second. You got a ministry telling you to give them your light bill, your mortgage money, and all that stuff. Unless the Lord called you to walk in a certain path for a certain time, that is not usually the Lord. That is greed, and that is power, and that is somebody wanting to look good in front of somebody else. All right. So I said it. All right, let's go back to the slide. All right, but bird dogging, wholesaling, lease to own deals, lease option deals in states that allow it, deal making, foreclosure consulting, subject to, being a virtual assistant or other ancillary services. These are all ways that you can make money around the field of real estate investing, even if you never buy the house, even if you don't have any money to get started. And I like moving people in a trajectory from no money to lots of money. I don't like going backwards. I like moving forwards, okay? And so what we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about self-directed IRAs, and we're going to talk about what an IRA is and then why it even matters to you. Now, I know that if you have a very if you have a highly producing business, you may choose a different vehicle to sock away funds, like a simple or a SEP, okay? You might choose a different kind of retirement vehicle, and you would decide that with your CPA, okay? I'm just going to give the benefits of one type of vehicle today, and that is a self-directed IRA. So first, I want to talk about what an IRA is, okay? An IRA is an individual retirement arrangement account, all right? So what it is it's a tax-favored account that tries to force people to save. Now, there's a lot of different kinds. And when you go get an IRA, you can get a traditional one, which is kind of like the 401k on your job, where they take the money out of your paycheck and you don't have to pay tax on it that year. You can get all these different kinds of things. But one that is favorable for real estate investors is the Roth self-directed IRA, okay? So an IRA is a retirement arrangement. Now, what happens with these retirement arrangements? They came out with the IRA back when they were trying to get people to save more, because they could see that Social Security wasn't going to last forever, right? They could see, hey, look, somebody finally got a clue, right? They could see that Social Security wasn't going to last forever, so they were trying to motivate people to do their own savings. So they came up with this brilliant brainchild. Hey, if we just give people a tax break, they'll save more, which is true, right? But then was it the late 80s or the early 90s? I'm not quite specific on the math. If somebody knows the date that the Roth came out, you can put it in there. But it was either late 80s or early 90s, because I was coming of age, and one of my former mentors, Larry Burkett, he was very much against the Roth. And so what happened with the Roth IRA accounts is the promise that if you pay taxes on that money today and go ahead and invest it in this retirement account that you can't touch till you're 59 and a half, well, then we will allow you not to have to pay taxes on it later. And so what happened at that time is the government needed money, y'all. The government did some silly spending, and they bailed some people out they didn't need to bail out. And the bottom line was they needed more money, but because they made all these promises to the American people, they couldn't. Well, they could have, but they didn't want to just come out with all new taxes, because they wanted to make sure they got reelected. So they said, I know, let's incentivize people to not take a tax deduction. Let's incentivize them to let us tax their money. And we'll do that by promising them that down in the future, they won't have to pay tax on it. And so that's why Larry Burkett was so against the Roth when it came out, because from his perspective, you can't trust the government later. You better take the tax deduction you can get now. Well, fast forward, 30 years, maybe 30, 40 years. Yeah, probably 30 years. And it's a standard in the financial world. So what the Roth is and a self-directed IRA is, it's the concept of pay later, It's the concept of you're paying now and paying later. So when it comes to retirement, there's only two ways. You're either going to pay now and play later, all right? Or you're going to play now and pay later. It's the same with everything in life, right? And so the Roth is more of a pay now, play later. I'm going to pay the taxes on the money I invest in this retirement account now, and when I retire and I take the money out, I don't have to pay taxes, okay? So that's how that works, okay? So I did kind of already talk through these, so I'm going to go ahead and skip past them. The traditional, you play now, you get your tax deduction now, but you got to pay taxes later. Well, you know the reason that this worked, the reason that this is still appealing to a lot of people is because in many constructs, when you get to retirement age, your income is lower. So for a lot of us, our retirement is lower. Now, if you're an entrepreneur and you've created multiple streams of income, and your passive income is increasing, well, that might be different. Okay. And so you might have a thriving business, and you might have different layers of income, passive income over here, streams over there, right? So you may not have lower, but for most retirees, think about your grandma, your great grandma, right? For most retirees, when you retire, your income drops way low. So if I'm going to have to pay taxes on new money, well, maybe I'd rather pay taxes later when I have less income instead of paying those taxes now. I'll take my tax break now. That's what the traditional kind of does. The Roth does it the other way. You don't get any tax deduction. But you don't have to pay taxes later. All right. And so, that's old numbers there. Okay. So each one has a limit of what you can put in. And there's other kinds. I'm just going to scroll through these real quick. There's other kinds of retirement things that you can do. And again, you're going to want to talk to your CPA about which one is right for you. Look, I'm a financial planner, okay? But that semester on taxes really made my head hurt. That's why I have Ibericoya, the wealth building CPA. She hooks up my taxes, y'all. So, a good CPA is worth every penny. And maybe I shouldn't say that so loud. I don't want her to raise her rates on me, but a good CPA is worth every penny. All right. And if you need a well-building CPA on your team, you reach out to me and I'll give you that referral. Her name is Eberekoye, Eberekoye, the Wealth Building CPA. You can type in Wealth Building CPA and you'll find her. All right. But yeah, so there's different. Oops. Let me put that back, add to stream. There we go. There's different types of IRAs that you can use for your small business and things like that, but you're going to want to run that through your CPA because they'll be able to tell you what's the most tax cost effective for you. Okay. Okay. Hey, if you hit her up, tell her JJ sent her because I know I need to schedule my appointment, my planning session. You know, that's a good CPA that does a planning session. There's a bad client who hasn't scheduled it yet. Okay, so there are a lot of different things. There are a lot of different ways to invest. So you might have an employer that has a 401k. Okay, a 401k, it does have a lot of tax advantages. A lot of times you get a employer match, and I'm all about it. Look, I'm all about free money. Look, you can get some free money. Get some free money. Look, y'all, get the free money. Get the free money. Pay off your debt. Don't be paying. Look. Don't you get 4% match and you paying 36% credit card debt. Pay off the debt. All right. It's like earning 36%. All right. But once you're not paying 36% credit card debt, all right, get the match, get the free money. All right. Because we want the free money. But look, I don't want you to go backwards. Listen, as a financial planner, y'all, I have had clients that are very much strongly insist they're going to get that free money from their boss. And I have literally had to draw it out. Look, you're getting a 3% match from your boss and you paying 12% every month to these people and you're spending more on a credit card than you're taking out of your 401k. You are literally digging yourself into a deeper and deeper hole. I didn't mean to say all that today. That's not what I came here to say, but I'm just saying math works every time you math it. And the people who charge us a lot of interest and come up with all the gimmicks, they know what they are doing. So let's get that straight first, and then let's go get that free money. All right. Can we do that today? Can we agree upon that today? Are we friends today? Oh my goodness. This is fun. All right. So with a typical IRA, just like with your 401k at work, whoever the they is, they manage it. All right. And so you might have a say, like you might be able to say, okay, I want to go in aggressive. I want to go in the life cycle fund. I want to go in something that's a little bit more moderate. It's all about your personality. Finance isn't a one size fits all. It's about your personality. That's why my wealth matrix is so successful, because we look at your personality and we incorporate your personality into your wealth plan. It's not a one size fits all. What works for him may not work for her, and what works for her may not work for him. So it's all about your personality, your risk tolerance, what you're willing to do and not do, and what's going to allow you to sleep well at night. All right. So somebody else manages when you have a retirement fund through work, or you go through whatever, and you set up the, through Fidelity or Vanguard. I'm not endorsing them. They didn't pay me, but one of those kinds of brokerage houses, you set up a little investment account. Okay. Primarily somebody else is doing the managing of that. But with a self-directed IRA, you are doing the management of that. So when you have a self-directed IRA, you are spending the money and you are collecting the profit and putting it back into the account. Now, this is really good. This is really good when you're going to do something with it. It's really not good if you're going to let it sit there. Ask me how I know. We'll talk about that on another slide. All right. So what kinds of things can you invest in? The cool thing about a self-directed IRA is you can invest in just about anything as long as it's legal. You can invest in the same stocks, bonds, mutual funds that you would do somewhere else. You can invest in real estate. You can invest in crypto, although I don't like to call it an investment. You could, and I will say, several of the big, with all the crash and the craziness in crypto, several of the big self-directed IRA companies are now restricting how you can buy crypto in one of these plans because they themselves are no longer considering them an investment. Okay. And it isn't, anything is an investment if you expect to get a return on it, but it's highly speculative. And so, these are big companies that don't want any risk to them. So they're going to put those restrictions on you about that. Okay. So let's see, what else can you invest in? You can do gold. You can buy notes depending on the structure of your self-directed IRA and what your company will do. You could even buy businesses, y'all. In fact, I think the only thing you probably can't do is something like drugs. That was a fun thing when I went to George Mason for my finance stuff. Learning that, well, they're not supposed to be doing drugs, but they do have to pay taxes on their drug money. Okay. So there's some things. Now there's a couple of things when you're investing in a self-directed IRA. This class is Real Estate Investing 101, and today's topic is self-directed IRAs. So I'm coming at you from the perspective of we're using a self-directed IRA to invest in real estate. So if you're using a self-directed IRA to invest in real estate, then there's a couple things you got to watch out for. First of all, the deal's got to be at arm's length. And what that means is it can't be me and my family member. It can't be me and my kid, me and my mama. Okay, it's any deals that I make, any sales that I do, or any person that rents that property has got to not be related to me. It can't be a majority owner in my company. Okay, so you have to make sure you follow certain rules so that the transactions that involve whatever property you're buying with the funds in your self-directed IRA, they all have to be at arm's length. The other downside of that is, look, if you've been investing in property for a while, then you know that one of the best ways to save money on investing in real estate is to do a lot of the work yourself, or have investor hookups with people who will give you a good deal, right? You can't do the work yourself and pay yourself to do the work yourself on a self-directed IRA purchased house, all right? And it has to be at arm's length. It can't benefit you, okay? You have to wait until your retirement age to be able to withdraw. And like I mentioned earlier, if you're not making money, then you're losing money. So when I first set up my self-directed IRA, I was a little squeamish about the whole concept. I had heard other investors were making big money with this thing, but I just wasn't sure. Sometimes we're just not sure. Has anybody else ever just not been sure before? And like you see other people doing it, but you just don't know if it's going to work for you. That's how I was. And so I split the difference. I took half of the money and I left it in I left half of it in a Roth IRA that was managed by my bank. Okay, not the best decision, but I was still learning about money back then. And I took the other half and I put it into a self-directed IRA. And there's a couple of things I found out about that. One, it was great to have money to invest in real estate. I could take that money in the self-directed IRA, invest in the tax certificates, the tax liens, the tax deeds, and any other properties that was low enough to fit the amount of money I had in the self-directed IRA. That was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful benefit. But guess what else I found out? I found out if you're not making money, your retirement plan is not making any money, you got to actually make some money. And I found out that the hard way the first year that I did Louisiana tax certificates, because about half of them that I bought lost money. And so it was like, oh, well, you know what? Was that phrase? Your dream doesn't work unless you do. Your self-directed IRA doesn't work unless you do. And so until I figured out how to actually be profitable, that thing wasn't making any money, and the other one was far outpacing it. So you got to make sure that when you set up a self-directed IRA, that you're actually going to do some deals. And if you need help doing your first deal, well, that's what you've got people like me for. People that have done it and been there, done that, can help you walk through how to get the first deal done. All right. Okay, so let's go on here. This is the company that I use, which is Equity Trust. Another one that a lot of people use is Trust EC. Okay, Equity Trust. It's kind of cool whenever I go out to their website, because I've watched them grow over time, and even though they probably don't remember me, I kind of remember them. All right, I'm going to skip that video. That's a video that you can find out there, but I am going to talk to you about the deal. So the video that I just skipped, because again, I'm in Chicago. I'm in the hotel. I'm actually in the banquet room of the hotel, and we just finished our dinner. The internet bandwidth is very low. Okay, so what happened with this deal is this investor started a self-directed IRA. Yay him, right? He did some small deals first to kind of earn while he learned. That's something I recommend. I know the TV, late night TV says that somebody made $2.8 million off their first deal with absolutely zero experience, but what they probably didn't tell you is that that person maybe never flipped a house before, but they probably had some, home inspector training, or they were a carpenter or something that they gave them an edge and an eye for what they're looking for, but in this case, it's always good to kind of test the waters first. Because he had the experience and because he had the savings available in the self-directed IRA, he was able to move quickly on the deal of a century. And so what he did was he put money from his IRA, his wife partnered with money from her IRA, they went in together, they bought this property that had multiple exit strategies. I love multiple exit strategies. If you only got one exit strategy, that's probably not a good idea. You got to make sure you have multiple exit strategies because you don't know what's going to happen. And that's what they did. They profited over $120,000. No, I'm so sorry. They sold. They sold it for more than 120,000, but then they actually had to pay back the prices. So this is the structure of the deal. They made $114,000. They bought the property for 100. They put 18 into it, plus the carrying costs. So it's not just what you put into it, but it's how much it costs you to hold it every month. Then they had some cleanup costs, and then by the time you subtract out what they sold it for, $235K, that was $114,000 tax free. Now, I know a lot of people want to talk about be in the bank, get your tax-free loans, but I'll take tax-free money over a tax-free loan any day. That was tax-free money in their retirement account, all right? So that's one of the things that I really do like about the self-directed IRAs, okay? So you might wonder, well, gee, how could I have $114,000 tax-free payday? Well, it's very simple. It's not easy. The key to wealth building is very, very, very simple. 1, spend less than you make and invest the rest. 2, start now. Don't wait for tomorrow. You know what they say, the best time to buy a tree. I'm sorry, y'all. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Don't worry about what you didn't do in the past. Don't worry about the mistakes that you made in the past. Hit your wagon to somebody who knows what they're doing, and let's get your first deal done, all right? Now, if you follow my rules of real estate investing, you're going to win every time. Does that mean you're going to always have this and that and the other, make $100,000 payday? Well, maybe not. That might be a little bit overreaching, but you will certainly win with money if you make your money when you buy. And when I say make your money when you buy, I mean you don't buy a property that's $200,000 in a $200,000 neighborhood that needs $30,000 worth of work because you know the value will go up one day. We're not buying on one day. We're buying on today. We're making sure that when we sign our name on the dotted line, that property is already profitable today, that we have already bought it low enough below market that even with the repairs, we could turn around and sell it to another investor today and make the money we need to make and get out of that deal. That's how we're buying, which leads me to my second rule. You might have seen it because I flashed it up on the screen there. My second rule is your secret weapons are other investors. So it's important to build relationships with other investors because other investors are going to help you find the deals. They're going to help you find the trades. They're going to help you unload the deals if you want to, if you get into something and you realize you're over your head. Another investor is probably who's going to take that off your hands. So you got to have a network of other investors. And the best way to find that is to go to groups with people who do real estate investing. They're called real estate investment associations or real estate investment groups. Okay. And so I just want to leave you with one thing. This is a real short lesson today because I just wanted to be an overview and just give you a little taste of what it is about investing in a self-directed IRA. If you have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. Or if you're on the free conference call, go ahead and do *61. I don't see any hands raised on free conference call, but if you raise your hand now, I'll be able to unmute you. Okay. I just want to leave you with this last thought. Okay. This last thought. Wherever you are, I want you to start there. Okay. I know sometimes the market seems so volatile. It seems so scary. You're worried that you're going to mess up. You're worried that you don't know what you're doing. There are enough of us out there that know what we're doing, and we want to pour into you that you can get with us for mentoring, for education, for hand holding, for contracts, and all those kinds of different things that we can equip you with. Don't let lack of knowledge be what prevents you from building wealth. Start where you are. I promise you, a year from now, you will wish that you had started today. I hope you all enjoyed that little quick lesson on self-directed IRAs. If y'all got any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. Now, if you're watching this after the fact, you can go ahead and go to askjjc.com and you can ask your question in the form at askjjc.com. But if I don't see any questions, then that's going to be all I have for you today. Y'all take care and be blessed.